So it is 4:10 in the morning. You can tell by my voice and my burst ball face that I'm off on an adventure. So this is the second day that the travel restrictions in Scotland have been eased beyond the 5 mile limit. And I didn't go out yesterday because I knew it would be absolutely crazy, plus the weather was rotten. I'm just going to flip the camera and show you what I'm looking at just now. So yeah, we're in the car just now, we're going off on an adventure. I've arranged to meet another photographer called Raymond up in the Trossachs, and I could not be more excited. Hundreds of coffee with me, I've got munchies, I've got all my gear with me. This is the first time I've ventured out in 13-14 weeks beyond my own sort of local area. Nervous, excited and raring to go. Just had a police car pass me and I genuinely thought it was for me. Apparently it's not, but just let me show you this. I quickly stopped the car to jump across to this field, which is covered in mist, with this big massive tree and this gorgeous big kind of wooden gate leading into the field, and literally on my way just stopped the car and jumped in. But this sky is insane. What a morning. So I'm getting my feet wet once again. I'm always getting my feet wet in videos. I don't know why you're surprised by that anymore. But look behind me, there's absolutely beautiful reflections over here. There was a wee bit of mist over there, but it seems to be sort of lingering around the sort of boggy sort of reeds rather than out on the actual main water. When I was driving over, the water was covered in mist, so there's a chance that the wind might blow that this way. The wind's blowing in this direction today, so there's a chance it might blow it down. But at the moment there's a couple of wee ripples in the water, which you can just see over there. I was working on a competition over there, but it was it's a little bit too much distraction in the water, so I've just left it. But I did get a really cool photo of the boathouse, which is just over there. I don't know if you can see it. It's there. Oh, there's Raymond there. So the boathouse is fantastic. I didn't know it was here. Raymond showed me it. So I managed to get a photograph shooting through the reeds, which are these reeds down here. I basically just put on a long lens and just shot straight through the reeds and used the reeds to sort of frame the boathouse. Very similar shot to what I did up in Loch, and it looks really good. I've also taken some macro photographs down here as well of the actual the little plants here on the reeds, which also look really cool. So I've definitely got 2 shots from this location, and I'm not sure whether we're going down to Loch, and as you can probably see, the midges are out in force. It's good to be out though. So I'm going to try and talk before the midges actually eat me alive. We've come down to Loch. There's a beautiful bit of mist hanging about behind us, and there's a sort of separation in the trees just over there, and there's a massive pine tree, and what I was waiting for was basically that mist to kind of go behind the pine tree just to separate it from the rest of the background. And also what happened while we were waiting was the mist is sort of dispersed at the top, so you've got a really fine sort of faint line of trees at the top as well, which looks absolutely fantastic. So I've been shooting on the 100mm lens today. So the settings for this shot was the shot that I'm about to show you, where I was shooting at f8, 200th of a second and ISO 400. I haven't got a polarizer with me because I forgot to put it on, but I would have probably benefited from that just at the back over there. The reflection's absolutely gorgeous. I think that would have just brought out the reflection even more. That light's just definitely coming out, isn't it? I can see it coming through. So the sun is well and truly risen, and the light is just starting to break through that sort of gap up there. And what I was waiting for was just to see if it would hit that line of trees, just to sort of bring that line out even more. I think that would definitely create a wee bit of depth in the photo as well, so I'm just hoping that that's going to happen, but I'll keep you posted. Right, so as expected, the sun did actually come out and light a little bit of those trees. It wasn't as strong as I was hoping, but it was still absolutely gorgeous. So I got a photograph just shooting through there. At the moment we're going to head round to the boathouses at the end of Loch, not the one that everyone photographs, but we're actually going to go and look for the sort of row of boathouses and then maybe try and walk to the other side of them and see if we can get a different sort of angle on them. I've well and truly had my breakfast of midges this morning, definitely haven't missed that part. So as you can see, I've managed to come down and find the boathouses and they're absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, obviously because they're right next to the water, as you can probably see, I'm being swarmed at the moment by midges. They are horrible. That's pretty much going to be everywhere in Scotland now, so it's just one of those things. But the boathouses look absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, there's no mist here, so the mist is still further up the loch, which I'll just show you. So although that looks absolutely fantastic and there's a wee sort of jetty just there, there's not really any light up that way. What I've been focusing on is this tree here, this reflection, and these reeds just there. I'm not sure how much of that you can see, but basically what I've been working on is just a composition using the reeds to sort of lead into that sort of tree in the background, which kind of looks like a bit of a bonsai tree, and you know that I've got a thing about trees. It definitely caught my eye. There's a wee bit of sun trying to break through. It's not really making any difference to the compositions because obviously the sun's over in that direction and we're over here, but this bit here is perfectly still. The water is crystal clear, it's perfectly still, the reflections are fantastic. So rather than working with mist now, we've kind of just been working with what we can see reflecting in the water for sort of symmetrical purposes, and it just looks absolutely stunning. So I came down looking for one photograph and I've ended up getting some completely different, which is fine, that tends to be how it goes. We're just going to stoat about here for a little bit and see. It's very waterlogged though, my feet are soaking. It's very difficult to actually move about and find a composition, but it's a Trossachs. I mean, it's endless. There's so much potential here, it's absolutely amazing, and it's just so good to be back up here. So this is Campsie Glen. I've taken the long way home just to have a wee look up here. I wasn't really coming up for photos. There are definitely potential photos further down the road, but I'm quite happy with the photos I got this morning. I'll be putting this video out tomorrow, which is Sunday. This is technically the last weekend of my 30s. I'll be 40 on Monday. And I really wanted to get out and do something this weekend, even if it's just going for a drive, just enjoying being out. As I said earlier in the video, this is the second day that the lockdown restrictions have been lifted in Scotland, for travel anyway. I get to go a little bit further, and where did I go? Campsie Glen, which is about 6 miles from where I live. But obviously I was up in the Trossachs this morning. I've come up here to have some breakfast. I've got a yogurt and oat cluster thing, so I'm going to have that. Got some iced coffee, and I've just kind of really wanted to just talk about how I've been feeling today. Over this weekend I've been feeling pretty anxious, obviously about turning 40. Lockdown especially has completely changed me. I was talking to Raymond about this earlier, like our new normal is weird, it's different. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. Definitely made me a little bit more cautious about being out and about and stuff as well, and whether I want to go out and about is a question that I didn't think I'd be asking myself at the end of the lockdown periods. Obviously at the start of lockdown we were all talking about how we were so excited to get out and what we were going to do when lockdown was over. Now that it's actually here and we're at that stage, I'm not really sure how I feel. It hasn't hindered our landscape photography this morning. It has been such a good morning. We spent about 3 hours just travelling down parts of the Trossachs lochs. So we went to Loch and then we went to Loch, and we did a couple of bits at Loch and obviously saw the boathouses and stuff, and it was lovely just being out. See, just being out and listening to the birds, and that's kind of Raymond's local area, but it's not mine, so it was lovely just to be somewhere else that's not Eastern Bartonshire. Nothing wrong with Eastern Bartonshire, you're stunning, but yeah, it was nice to be somewhere else for a wee change. So I think I'm going to go home and edit the video that I've made today and get it up for you tomorrow. But a lot of today, apart from dodging midges, have you seen the state of my forehead? Look at that. I've been eaten alive. A lot of today was basically, Raymond knows that area really, really well, and I know it fairly well, probably not as well as he does. But I think a lot of today was about having a sort of image in mind. You obviously saw the weather conditions, and none of us expected that light this morning. We were talking about that when we met up. None of us expected that beautiful sunrise that we had. The amount of mist that we got was insane. It was absolutely amazing. The sort of aim in the game this morning was really just going with our instincts, I think. Just sort of noticing which way the mist was, what was sort of moving on the water and what direction it was going in. And then we figured that basically most of the mist was coming from the Stirlingshire area and pushing its way inward towards where we were. So we figured, well, we were going to be waiting a while till it hits us, so we kind of walked, well, we kind of drove further up the loch. But there was this point where we stopped at Loch and it didn't look like much was going to happen, and then all of a sudden the mist just rolled in from behind this sort of bank of trees and kind of came between two sort of outcrops of trees, and it sort of settled behind them, and it just looked beautiful. And I was hoping for this sort of light to hit those trees and sort of light them up even more, and we did get a little bit of light, but it wasn't quite what I'd hoped for, but it was still nice. Got a couple of photos down there as well, and then also we went to the boathouse and got our feet wet. Good fun as well. But a lot of the day was all about instinct. It was about assessing how the weather was behaving and then sort of moving around to the areas that you thought might have had potential for those sort of photographs, and I think it definitely worked. I'm really happy with the photos that I got. So I'll post all the photographs at the end as per usual. It's only 7:30 in the morning, or maybe it's 8 actually, I'm not sure. I don't know what day it is, I don't know what time it is, I have no idea. I think this has definitely been more of a wee sort of easing me into landscape photography again in other parts of Scotland, which I was supposed to be going to the Cairngorms next week, depending on weather and other factors. I'm not sure whether that's going to happen or not. If I do go, it'll be off-grid, away from people. I'm still kind of nervous about it, if I'm being honest with you, but we'll see how it turns out. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll put all the photographs at the end as per usual. And massive thank you to Raymond for taking me for a wee tour about the Trossachs. It was really good fun. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you all are staying safe and looking forward to this little bit of freedom that we have just now. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.